Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to do something a little different than the last time. In my last video I gave a little tour of our house. It looks like this now, so still super cute, but today what I want to talk about is going into some EvilCraft topics here. And the reason that I want to do that is because when I was first starting EvilCraft, I couldn't find any actual tutorials that seemed simple enough for someone to just like do right off the bat. And that's kind of my problem with a lot of tutorials that I find on Minecraft, is that they kind of start off a little bit slow and then they push forward into like the most complicated thing you've ever seen in your life. So I'm gonna try and keep this as simple as I can, and do my best to explain things that I needed help with when I was working through the first parts of this mod. So I'm gonna first pull up the quest line. As you can see, I've not finished everything. There's definitely some stuff I still need to do, so whether I make a video on that sometime is anyone's guess. But the first thing we're going to do when you come into this mod, and this might seem obvious, but there's no book to start, so the first thing you're going to do is come in and make one of these bad boys. So this is a blood extractor. If you've ever done blood magic, you'll kind of understand the concept of collecting blood and how you do that. It's a little bit different with this mod, so keep in mind that the blood from blood magic and the blood from this mod are not going to be the same. So one will not work interchangeably with the other, but as you can see, you keep this thing in your inventory and it fills up. So you can see that I have mine here. There's two, and they're green, right, which means they're full. So essentially what I'm going to do now is, once they're full, you empty them into one of these things. So this is a dark tank. It basically just holds blood. Oh, there's a trader stuck somewhere in there. That's fun. So it collected all the blood from these. We'll get into more of those later, but this thing isn't too hard to craft. It just looks like this. So for EvilCraft, you're going to need a lot of these dark gems. They're not too hard to find. You just kind of mine for them. I don't think I have any of the ores, but if we do come across it sometime, I will show you what it looks like in ore form in a block. The other thing you're going to want to make is a sanguinary pedestal. So that's just going to help kind of collect stuff and absorbs. I haven't used it yet, I'm not going to lie to you, so we're gonna figure that out. Okay, so we have our blood stored in this dark tank. Let's go collect some more. So I'm gonna show you what it looks like when you first start collecting it. So just use a regular sword. For this mod, you don't need any special swords like you would with blood magic, and it's just gonna slowly collect. So there actually is a sword that you can use that collects much faster, but because it kind of, the reason that I'm not using it is because it kind of runs out pretty quick, and so for me it's just not worth it to like use more items to craft a new sword when I could just be using this one that lasts way longer. So okay, I'm gonna pause here because you obviously can understand how that works, but if you need more help, just let me know. These guys are spirits, so there's something that you need to be able to see these dudes, and it comes a little bit later in the mod pack, so I can't remember exactly where. Okay, so when you come here, after you create this thing, it'll unlock here where you can make a vengeance ring. So you need a lot of this crushed dark gem stuff, and you can do that by using a crusher from the create mod. There's a couple other ways to get it. My partner made the crusher for me, so please don't ask me how to do it because I don't know. And that's gonna give us this stuff, so I'll show you how that works too. It's a bit weird. Like basically when they come out, you have to make this thing, this piercing vengeance focus, and so when you're using that, you like hold right click and it does damage to their actual like ghost. And then their ghost is going to drop this guy, Vengeance Essence. That's going to be really helpful for you later when you're making stuff in this mod. So again, what we're doing here is just collecting blood. you see those spirits there, you don't have to do anything with them when they come along. You can just kind of let them roam around, and then eventually they disappear. And it should work with any mod. Ignore this setup, okay, because this is the blood magic setup, so if you want a full tutorial on that, please let me know. I'm happy to do that, but I did want to go over some of this stuff. So, okay, this is a blood chest. It only holds blood. Okay, so you can't, like, it's just gonna hold blood. And to be honest with you, I don't know what this is supposed to hold, but that's what it holds. The next thing we're gonna do is look at what's next in the quest line. So you're gonna find this drying blood. So you're gonna make it into hardened blood, which essentially is just putting a bucket of blood in a little thing here, and then just kind of leaving it there for a little bit and letting it dry. So I'll show you what that looks like. Okay. It's just gonna look like that. Eventually that's gonna dry, and then you can break it like a regular block, and then it comes into your inventory. So to make these little blood shards that it's talking about here, essentially what you're gonna do is you just put that block of dried blood that we're gonna get here, and you'll see when it changes. We're gonna put it in the furnace, and it's gonna break it for us, and then we're gonna get those little blood shards. So I already have some here, just two, so you can see what they look like, but that's how you're gonna do that basically. Okay, and I'm in the blood now. That's fun. So we have our blood storage. We have more blood storage for this blood chest, and this is a blood infuser. So before you can get the blood infuser, the mod is going to tell you to infuse gems with blood. So like I said, you're going to need those dark gems, which I have some of them here. And what you're going to do is, it says it needs 5 spaces of blood and like space essentially. So you would make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fill all of that up with blood from each block, and then once you toss this in like that, it's gonna change. Mine's not gonna do it because I don't have enough blood in there. There it is. But that's how you're gonna do that. You need those gems. You need these dark power gems to make other stuff. So make sure you're doing that, because you're gonna need them to make like this thing next, which is just something that's in a lot of recipes. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Okay, this blood infuser, essentially what this thing does, as it says, it infuses stuff with blood. So once you make this thing, you can infuse your dark gems and make them dark power gems just right in here. And this stores a lot of blood because I have some upgrades. So you'll see in these recipes, Promise of Tenacity 1, 2, and 3. These were kind of annoying to make, but let's go through how to do that because I had some trouble with this. So this one's number 3. Let's look at number 1. Okay, so we see them all here. Promise of Tenacity 1. So you're going to need a spider eye, a bowl of promises, and an iron promise acceptor. Okay, so let's do the bowl first. Dusted bowl of promises first, so it looks like this. So you're going to need this bowl of empty promises, which is where these gems are going to come in handy. So you're going to make one of those. Okay, you're going to make one of those. It looks like this. I'll make it. Good. And then we're going to go back. We need to make it the dusted. So we're going to do this. Now we have the dusted bowl. Of course, you're going to need a lot of this crushed dark gem. You can find a lot of this from like the quest line. So once you start completing stuff, it's likely going to give you some of this. But if it doesn't, there are other ways of getting it, which I can go into detail more about if you'd like. Alright, so once we have that, what we're going to do is put that bowl in here. So I already have one of these in there, but let's take it out and let's put our bowl in here, and it should work. Yeah, so you can see it working. You know it's doing it because of the bubbles, and you can see the little progress bar. So we'll just leave that to do its thing. And then what we also need to create is this iron promise acceptor. essentially what you're going to do is get a block of iron and put it in your blood infuser. So once this is done, that's what you're going to do. And in the meantime, what I'm going to do is just put this back in here. Just the only thing that these really do is give your infuser more capacity to hold blood. So that's what you're doing. If you put your block of iron in there and it does not start moving, doesn't go, sometimes it takes a minute to start. If it doesn't start, it might mean that you don't have enough experience levels. So keep that in mind as well, because that stumped me for a little bit. I was wondering why it wasn't working and I just needed more experience levels, so I did that. Let's go back here and refill so I can show you some other ways of refilling those chests and the blood infuser. Alright, this is going to charge up soon. See, as you can tell, if you're watching the little progress bars at the bottom, they fill up fairly quickly, so I actually find that the sword that it tells you to get, like, isn't super necessary. Okay, so this is done, and let's put the block of iron in there, and that's going to start going. There's two ways of putting this blood in here. The first thing you can do is just toss it in there, and it'll slowly drain. And the other thing you can do is just hold it in your inventory and right click. Now, it'll do this thing where, let's say it's not full. So I'll just hit a couple of these guys, and so it fills up just a little bit. And then when I come back over here, if I click on it, it's gonna become full. So you see the progress bar go green, and then you click it again, and then it'll empty. It might seem straightforward, but it might be helpful for some people, so I figured I'd go over that. Alright, let's look again at the quest line and see. So we have our chest, repairing tools with blood. Blood chests can be used to repair items using blood. I don't know how to do that yet, so if I figure it out, I will let you guys know, but this is just the first levels of this. So, okay. The next thing is just going to be these colossal chests. I did make one of these, but I'm actually having trouble placing them down. So I'm going to read all that stuff again and then come back and tell you again. We got the blood infuser. Undead trees. Okay, so you need an undead sapling for this quest. The way you're going to get this is you're going to go to like a desert or something, somewhere dry that has dead bushes. So you're going to look for a dead bush. It literally looks like a dead bush. Let's see if they have it here. I think I have some in my inventory actually, so let me look. I don't. But basically what you're going to do is get your dead bush, put it in here. It's going to give you an undead bush. And then once you have your undead bush, that's when you're going to plant it and get undead logs, which look like that. So that's how you're going to get all that undead wood and stuff. And again, that's going to be helpful here. So you're going to make this vein sword, which is what I was talking about when I said it collects blood a little faster. And then you can make this bad boy, which, to be honest, I have not even used this. But when I figure out what it's actually for, I will keep you posted. The rest of this stuff kind of just, like, this kind of came naturally for me. I got this from a quest. Then you're going to make bricks, and I'm still working through a lot of stuff on this mod pack, as you can tell. But that's what I wanted to go over, was just those kind of starting items. Oh, the other thing I wanted to talk about, you're eventually going to need to make this weather accumulator, sanguinary environmental accumulator. I could not for the life of me figure out how the heck I was supposed to find that thing. So I eventually learned that this thing, environmental accumulator, you cannot craft it, you can't make it, you have to visit a dark temple. So if you don't know what that looks like, it's basically a giant structure. It's like a giant gazebo kind of, and it has a beam of light shooting up into the sky from the middle, and that beam of light comes from the environmental accumulator. So you basically break that. It takes forever, and it gives you this little it gives you this little like orb thing. I can't remember what it's called. Oh, here. It looks like this, environmental accumulator core. So when you break this thing, it's not going to show up like that. It's going to show up like this. And that's what you're going to use to make this thing. And again, you're going to need more stuff. So this blood infusion core just takes hardened blood and then a dark power gem. So not too hard, but definitely time consuming if you don't have a fancy mob spawner like I do here, which I did not make. So please don't ask me how to do that. So yeah, that's what I've got here with this little EvilCraft starter kit. Hopefully that was helpful for somebody. If you have more questions about that, or you just want to, hear more about the stuff I've got going on in here, please let me know. But aside from that, I think that's all I wanted to talk about. And if I have more, I guess you'll see me again soon. So thanks for tuning in, and